DJ Metal Craig of Craig's Middlestrom here. I have one of the members of BrainDead with me today. Hey, how's it going? And would you like to introduce yourself and what position you do in the band?
What's going on, Craig? Name is Ed. Ed Corpse. This is what I go by online all the time. And BrainDead, I play one of the lead guitars and vocals.
Okay, and would you mind listing who's all not with you in the lineup today as part of the band that's not there for the interview?
Sure thing. On drums, I have Ray Leviathan. That's what he goes by. Um, we got Dave Rodriguez on bass, and we got a new guy, Shane Cahill, on second lead guitar. Um, I guess just to be clear, I don't like to use the terms lead and rhythm guitar in BrainDead because we both do leads. So I would just say first guitar, second guitar, or left guitar, right guitar, because my OCD is like left channel is me and right channel is, Shane or whoever's on the guitar. So just throwing that out there in case I say lead or second or whatever.
All good, man. I understand where that's coming from. Can I
Definitely.
get you to go back in the history of BrainDead and how the band all got started?
Well, now we're going back to '98 at this point. It was summer of '98, and I'm the only original member left from that era. So we originally started back in high school. We were in summer school actually, and we were just like not paying attention to shit going on at summer school because naturally we don't pay attention to shit anyway. And I remember we were crossing the street. We left school, we crossed the street, and one of us was like, "We just start a band," and that was it. That was the big, moment that everything started at that point. Um, at the time, we weren't even a metal band really. We were more like a punk thrash crossover kind of band. Um, so anything with the blast beats or like fast tremolo riffs and all that stuff didn't happen until a couple years afterwards. But yeah, that's the beginning. '98, summer '98, July '98, whatever. I don't remember the day it was, but um, that's when we started.
Right on, man. Would you mind telling the listeners how you came up with the band name Brain Dead?
Yeah, I don't mind. I wish it was a more interesting story, but it's just like I guess if you know our personalities, especially from back then, it's just nothing but a goof, and we just landed on it. I remember at the time, me and my bass player at the time, Carlos, we were just on the phone talking shit about something in school at the time. I don't remember. We're probably just making fun of somebody or one of each other, one of us or whatever, talking shit to each other. And I remember calling that person brain dead. And then he just stopped the conversation and he was like, "That's it." I was like, "What?" And he said, "That's the fucking band name right there." And I was like, "All right, fuck it. It works. It worked fucking well for us at the time, being a punk thrash crossover band." It's like, all right, well, it lands. A lot of people think it was named either after the movie Brain Dead or the Exodus song. But no, total coincidental. And that's just how we came up with the name. It was just a fluke phone call, and there it was.
Who designed the Brain Dead band logo?
Um, Again, that was me, but by accident. Just as basically almost everything in this band is just happened to come up. Are we talking about the like the font, or we're talking about the symbol that we use?
Actual logo you designed in general.
Everything. All right. Well, just the name Brain Dead. It's just literally a font. That's all that it was. One day we were just like on Microsoft Word or something, and we just wrote the name and we were just scrolling fonts, and we found one that was it was called Broken Font, and ever since then we've just been using it, and it seems to have worked. It stuck with us, and it's legible, and you can see what it says. And the actual like the symbol, which is the star and the cross. I was in graphic design school for a while, and one day I was just fucking around in Photoshop or Illustrator, whatever, one of them two, and by accident I just combined those, both of those together, removed some of the lines, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool, and we just kept it. So that's as simple as it was. There was nothing, there was no overthinking at all whatsoever with anything that we did, but it fits. I liked it, and we used it.
Okay, and just so you know, I think the logo is cool and amazing. Is this the kind of symbol you were planning on using a bit in there, roughly?
Yeah, I mean, at the time we made the symbol, it was in 2003. At that point, I was starting to get a lot more into like death and black metal. I mean, I was already into it a little more years prior, but then I was trying to look into those symbols, and then I started getting into that stuff and whatever. But yeah, I was trying to go with something like that, but then it's just, then you got so many bands that use it anyway, like crucifixes and pentagrams and all this stuff and whatever. But then somehow removing certain lines and the way they mesh together, it just, fit naturally. So I kept it ever since.
That's cool, man. Just give me a sec here. What
Sure.
were the themes and concepts behind this song "When Crows Die"?
Well, usually I don't like to like um I guess talk about like what certain songs are. I like people to figure them out a certain way, but um that one I don't mind talking a little bit about it. That one is more so I guess you could say like a folklore kind of thing about stuff that happens if you happen to witness a crow die in front of you or near you or something like that. It has to do something with being a symbol of somebody around you is about to go, or you or somebody about around you is about to go. Um, and naturally, I like to write songs in lyrically, I like to write songs in story fashion. So there's like a little story behind, I guess, the lyrics that I wrote about, in the song and according to the folklore and stuff like that. So some people can read it, I guess, in a first person perspective. Some people can read in a third person. You just got, I would say it's best if whoever's going to read the lyrics and follow along with it, just to kind of, play around with the idea of who you are when you're reading, if that makes any sense.
Okay, and just so you know, I want to jam the two songs "When Crows Die" and "The Jackal." I thought they were both freaking awesome tunes you did,
Thank you.
brother.
Thank you. Crows
I,
was I've always felt like Crows was like our November Rain, because that song took me a couple of years to finish writing. It probably took about maybe 5 years or so. It was just piece by piece putting it together and everything, and I was really happy with the final result that it was. That was to me, that's like the song that I really wanted to write or felt like I needed to write as an artist. Um, yeah, but that's that one. So I appreciate you saying that, man.
right on, man. And just so you know, I spun both songs on the airways last show, and a couple times I spun the song "The Jackal" as well.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I love the songs so far. They're really sick and awesome. Can't wait for you to send me more material at some point when you have some done, buddy.
Oh yeah, I trust me. It's been a while since we've released anything, and I've been really like looking into like figuring out how to move forward from where we last left off. And I feel like we're gonna be getting closer to that point of releasing new stuff eventually.
Right on. What are the band's immediate music career goals?
Um, let's see. It's strange that I don't really have a particular like milestone that I want to achieve with the band. I just kind of like more so see it as where is it going to take us, and you know the end of the road of our lives, what did it achieve? That's kind of like the way I see it. I don't like have a specific end game or anything like that. I just want to keep going. When I want to play live, I go out and play live. When I want to write, we just go write and stuff like that. um I would say that um one of the, I guess, I don't know how to put it, but like one of the, I guess maybe you could say it's a goal. I guess one of the goals that I would personally have to say with the band is I would love to know or feel like, the music that we write has, influenced somebody else, or, you know, gave them joy or something like that, or just something that kind of, makes them like look forward to other things and such. And I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand that. As a matter of fact, you've got a fan of your music right here that you're talking to right now.
Thank you, man. Thank you. So I guess trying to like, entertain other people and make them think and bring awareness to certain song topics that I do and such. And as long as we keep things positive, moving in a certain way.
This next one might get you off a bit, but it's a good one. Who are the band's musical influences?
Well, let's see. I would you say writing style, or would you say like as far as influences of like musician influences?
Vocals, guitar, whatever you think might be pertainable to what we're talking about for this question.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I guess we could say bands, if anything. Um, I've always been influenced by Death. Chuck Schuldiner, Death. God Throne was a huge influence on a lot of the songs that I write. Um, Megadeth, Demolition Hammer, um, some Immolation, and those are like a lot of the early stuff that I was listening to when the band turned into like a full metal band. And then obviously later on down the road, it got influences from Emperor, Hecate Throne, some Cradle of Filth. Um, and then I started listening to more technical stuff, Necrophages, Cryptopsy. Um, there's a couple of variants like that, man. Those are the ones that mainly stick out, from my head at the moment. And guitar wise, and Randy Rhoads has always been one of my top guitar idols. Um, Ozzy, of course. Ozzy will always be the number one top rank for me. Um, and it's weird to say, like a lot of the way that Ozzy's old music was written, the structures and I guess how they, the band were to make things and how they do storylines and such. A lot of that is influenced, uh, for BrainDead as far as strong, you know, song structures and such. I wish I could play like Randy Rhoads, but it's just not meant for me. But yeah, I guess does be most of our influences. Um, as far as I guess lyrical theme goes, other than Crows and the Jackal, I tend to be influenced by I guess more realistic issues. I have our last album, Beyond the Mask of Sanity, that was highly influenced or inspired by watching the movie A Beautiful Mind, which is Russell Crowe, and he's got schizophrenia, I believe. I'm kind of blanking the title on it, but uh, watching that movie kind of helped me realize that psychological issues and mental issues are something that I kind of like lean towards for. Um, of course, we're not glorifying that or anything like that, but I just wanted to write stuff that had to do with things that I'm interested in. That happens to be some of that. So that entire album is one giant story that carries on from the first album. It wasn't planned. It just kind of like writes itself the way I was explaining how BrainDead works. We just kind of like we just go and like if this seems to work and tie in, then it goes in there. And then I think about future stuff as far as not like a trilogy kind of album. But I feel like I'm going on a tangent here. But um, lyrically, I would say most of the songs are dealing with psychological issues and stuff like that. Um, being a death metal band, I like to really kind of really push more forward, saying that we're more of a dark metal band. Because I'm not always trying to blast beat. I'm not always trying to be like a typical death metal kind of band. It's nothing wrong with anybody that just wants to do that style, of course. But I just like to push, uh, push our creativeness, push other people's minds to think differently in order to proceed forward to the next level of whatever things need to be. Um, but yeah, that I hope that kind of answers. There's a few songs that we write that are just non-psychological based. The Jackal, for example, that one has nothing to do with the storyline ties I was mentioning. The Jackal was actually inspired by the character the Jackal from the movie 13 Ghosts. I remember watching that movie in the theater back when it was released in 2002, three, whatever it was back those days. And I remember back then seeing the character on screen, and he just got such uh, you know, a short segment. And I always thought this guy he seems fucking awesome the way he moved and the way he did things. He was a fucking fast killer. Um, so I read, I guess, the story behind the character in the movie, and I said I need to write a song about this guy one day. And I think it was maybe like 15 or 16 years later that I finally was able to do that because we needed one more song for our third album, which is still sitting around unreleased. I needed a space filler song, and I happened to write a really fast song that you know ended up being the Jackal. And I said this song sounds fast enough, and it feels like it could be represented with this character, and I needed a space filler song, so that was it. And then looking back at it, it seems to be a song that a lot of people are really digging. So what ended up being just a space filler track ended up being like a popular song for a lot of people. And but yeah, that's an example of one of the songs that are just have nothing to do with like the psychological or storyline. It's just more so in the about a character.
Cool, man. This next one is a really good one. What are the band's foreseeable plans for the future? Are there plans for more singles, or is there plans to release a possible full-length album?
Um, I do want to release our third album. Um, and then I have ideas to write another album after that one, um, which would be, I guess you could say, our fourth one. So our third album was actually recorded probably 10 years ago at this point, and it was also done partially here, done partially with Mike Yusufer, Primeval, at his studio. We did all the vocals up there, and I don't know. I just didn't. And I just like I've had the album. I just hadn't finished like mixing it. And then like I'm just kind of feeling like I need different options with it to do or something. And it just kind of sat there for a while. So um, I think I'm gonna just get on and just probably release it maybe at some point this year. It also has to do with the fact that the band has had a lot of lineup issues over the last couple of somewhat years and such. And I didn't want to release something and then suddenly it's just like we're not doing anything, we're not playing live much. So I still have it there. I have been writing a lot more songs throughout the years anyway. So there's still stuff that has to be recorded and penned down to see what we do for an album or so. But I guess for the next future, I'd rather release the album. Um, I get it that lately there seems to be a trend of like singles and singles and singles going out, but I'm more of an old school guy. I like to release an album. I like to listen to full albums from start to finish. I don't, I'm not into the whole like we'll release a single and then 3 months later another single, and then 3 months later another single, then 3 months another single. It's like it feels a little like it feels silly to me. I much prefer the whole album deal. If you're gonna release single at least two singles and an EP or something, and then move on to the next thing. But yeah, I hope that answers it.
I guess, yeah, man. I'm one of the old school type myself. I like to listen to full albums too. Have you heard the album for 69 Squad at all? Porno Grindcore band.
I have not actually.
They're messed up, but oh, are they good? They have these Japanese hentai porn clips in their songs.
I
It's
mean,
insane. You would laugh at some of what you hear in those albums. It grosses the girlfriend out in places. It's so bad.
oh man, but yeah, man, that's I guess where we're sitting now at the moment.
And just so you know, I have to say hello to Mike when I get off this interview with you later on tonight or tomorrow, and tell him I talked to you on in an interview
Nice,
stuff. I still got to get Mike back on the air at some point for another interview because he just had his new album release. I played some of the tracks off it. I got to get him back via Skype for a video interview with my show on my YouTube channel.
nice, nice.
It would be good to catch up with him.
I heard the release that was done. And I think Mike did a really good job on that. From the original version that was released back 10 years ago, or I think it was 10 years ago. I feel like it was 10 years. Um, but I was really happy to hear that, man. And I felt like the previous mix didn't do the songs as much justice like it did with this mix. And yeah, man, it's fucking great, man.
It is good. I liked it too, man.
Hell yeah.
Who got you into playing guitar as in a musician that influenced you when you were growing up?
Um, I kind of when I was growing up, um, so I guess you could say that the era that I was like becoming interested in music and into bands and such, it was maybe the early to mid '90s around there. So at the time, you know, there's no internet, none of that, and growing up in the Bronx, there's barely like any metal anywhere, and then you're fucking broke. You don't have money to travel or listen to buy things. You're a teen, you're a broke teen, and you live in an apartment and such. So it's like the only influences I really had was whatever was playing on MTV or the radio at the time. And I remember the bands that stood out to me was probably Aerosmith and Nirvana, Red Hot Chili Peppers, like those kind of bands. And then obviously 95, 96 came around, Marilyn Manson came out, and then that started getting me into like the more like heavier stuff. Like, okay, so let's see where this is going. And then all that stuff kind of just, you know, made my musician's ear think or listen, I guess you could say. I started listening to, I actually was more drawn to the drums first. I actually did not want to be a guitar player. I did not want to do vocals. I did not want to be a front man. None of that. I just wanted to be in the drums in the background. I was listening to Dave Grohl on drums playing Nirvana, and I was easily picking up 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, etc. So that naturally just came in my ear, and then I wanted to like just get a drum set and whatever. So again, at the time, there's no money. Living in an apartment in the Bronx, it's like you're not getting a drum set. I was like, okay, that's fine. So instead, my uncle just let me borrow one of his guitars, and he showed me how to read tabs. And he gave me this like 1980s guitar guitar book to learn guitar, and I started doing songs like Poison, Guns N' Roses, all that stuff. And one of the first songs I learned was Paradise City by Guns N' Roses. So I started doing that, and then that's how I developed my skills and stuff. And then it wasn't until after that I started listening to like more bands as a musician, as opposed to listening to bands as this is music to entertain myself with. And then when I caught the ear of Randy Rhoads, the story of what happened, Nas, and all that stuff, then that solidified me into really loving that style more and trying to push myself more, uh, to do like leads and such. And then after that, I started covering songs from Metallica, and then suddenly the internet exists, and then like whoa, there's like all these other kind of bands I've never heard of in my life. Like I never heard of. I heard of. Ironically, I've heard of Cannibal Corpse before the internet because they mentioned them one time on MTV, and with that name, I just had to go find a fucking album. And I remember getting Eaten Back to Life when I was when I was a teenager at the time. I had to save up a lot of for a lot of weeks just to get $15 to fucking go buy the album. And I remember buying it, putting it on my fucking CD player, and that was the first time I ever heard growls. And I was like, whoa, this is fucking sick, man. I'm fucking digging this shit. And at that point, then I knew what death metal was at that point. This was probably someone in the late '90s already at this point. So then the internet shows up, and I started, Googling guitar tabs to different songs, various Metallica songs, various Cradle Field songs, and then that starts kind of influencing my style, my playing, because again, it's just something that I've never heard before, and then I started covering those songs, and that's how I developed my skill, and that's how I develop a lot of what I do. It's just that way. So yeah.
Right on, man. And just so you know, how you mentioned Cradle of Filth, tell me it just sounds a little bit like him. Moon, she has like a cruel portrait.
Wait, what?
I just said the moon shines like a cruel portrait. I
Nice.
used the range of Danny there. I trained myself to do that
That's
over
from
the
Empire,
last
isn't it?
10, 15 years.
Oh my god.
I can do growls like Glenn Benton. I can do high streets like Kevin Sharp and Brutal Truth. And then this is a funny story that's going to get you laughing. Me and my girlfriend were doing a show on 666 night up here in our town. I go
Okay.
to do like Japanese encore style high street. I did it so loud, I blew the PA speaker out on the stage.
Fucking Christ, man.
Like I had the mic about that far away from me when I did it. And I still blew out the speaker because the guy didn't have the mic set up volume all right on the sound system.
Right. Oh
So
my
all of a sudden I just hear this pong.
god.
They still haven't fixed the PA speaker right to this day. It still cuts out in some of the other bands that are performing there.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Well,
jeez.
I hope they're not gonna ask you to pay for it now.
No, they haven't. They just wrote it off. They just said, forget it.
You know, screw it.
Especially it was the sound tech's fault. He didn't have the levels set up right on my mic.
That's true. Next time they'll learn them not to, give mics to random people, and then there you go.
Although the show did turn out killer. We had a packed room for that show that night, our first
Nice.
show.
Jeez.
Does the band have any band gear endorsements?
I wish. I wish it would save so much money. Trust me, I wish, but no endorsements, nothing, man. Everything is hard earned ourselves, man. Uh, well, then again, our bass player now works at a music store for audio engineering, so we're taking a lot of advantage of his employee discounts for a lot of stuff that we needed to get, specifically a lot of our in-ear monitor system stuff. And yeah, that saved us a good amount of money. So anybody in bands out there, you know, get one of the bandmates to go work at a music store so you can use those discounts because they fucking pay off.
Please give some guitar tips or advice for starting out guitarists.
Well, um, I feel like I was self-taught. Why are people messaging me? I'm in an interview here. I'll deal with them later. Oh, that's my coworker. She's yelling. She's still cursing at me. Um, let's see. I was always like I learned at home on my own, just with the guitar tab book, as I said. My uncle, who who taught me, says to me, "Don't worry about like, um, I guess, learning, properly or anything like that." He just wanted me to have fun. He just wanted me to go and like learn the basics. I guess any future guitar players watching, a power chord is just, with the three fingers. Please stop messaging me, people. Damn, damn. So I had a hard time, holding the guitar fret like that. Any guitar players, I'm pretty sure you know what I'm doing here. Um, so he said, "Don't worry about this finger. Just leave it loose. Just play with these two." So I did. So I started booking all my. I mean, start booking. I'm reading the fucking goddamn Texas. Sorry about that. I started learning just with the two fingers on the frets instead of doing trying to play perfectly as the tabs, and it got me through, and I was able to have fun and play the songs, and it gives you that feeling of like accomplishment, and you want to continue doing more. So anybody looking to play guitar brand new, sometimes, um, if you're really into theory and things like that, then yeah, you should go into that route of properly educating yourself. Maybe get a guitar teacher or so. But on the do-it-yourself route, especially now that you have YouTube and all those kind of things, it's just simpler to you know find tabs online. You can use programs like Guitar Pro or whatever the new ones are. I don't even know what the new ones are anymore. But I've been using Guitar Pro for the last maybe 20 years, and everything's there. Just cover these songs, cover your favorite songs, cover songs that are simple and fun to play. They make you feel good, and then you obviously will pick up the skill without even realizing you're picking up the skill. And I mean, I get a lot of compliments from my guitar playing and being able to do a lot of the things I do with guitar and sing at the same time. As I said, everything is all self-taught. It was just that there's no formal training at all. I don't even know what some of the terms are, or like if they say play a solo in A major this, or I don't know what the fuck anybody's talking about. It doesn't register. My drummer hates that I don't know this stuff, and he tries to teach me, and I just stop him at the last rehearsal. I said to him, "Look, man, don't even waste your time fucking teaching me this shit, man. For the last 25 whatever years I've been playing guitar, I've never learned it. I'm not gonna learn it now. Just don't even waste your time. Let's just move forward." But yeah, that's my only advice really. It's just kind of like look at guitar tabs, see how to read them, and just cover songs, cover your favorite songs. And then by the time you realize you're picking up skills you didn't even know you were picking up.
The next one was about vocals. Same question.
Vocals, I guess also by accident. um, so I said earlier I did not want to do lead guitar. I did not want to do a vocalist. So in the beginning of Braindead's era, back in '98, excuse me, all the way through 2022, I've I was not doing vocals at all. Maybe a couple of times did backing vocals. My old bassist Carlos, he was the one doing all the vocals and bass. And I don't know what the fuck he would have written about back in those days because that was our punk thrash uh, crossover era, and a lot of our songs were like really ridiculous. They were just fun titles and stupid things. So I don't know what the fuck he wrote about, but he used to do the vocals and everything. When he left the band, um, then it's like I got to think to myself, do I really want to look for another guitar? I mean, I'm sorry, another vocalist, or should I just take it on my own? And I was like, all right, let me give it a shot. And at the time, I was listening to Death, Chuck Schuldiner Death. I was listening to like a lot of Cannibal Corpse, Cradle of Filth, different things. I knew I could not do high pitches, whatever, because my register, my voice is a little on the deeper side. So I tried doing it just vocals alone, no guitar. It just wasn't happening. I was just hurting my throat. Suddenly, I put on my fucking guitar and I'm playing and I'm singing. And I'm like, okay, this kind of sounds like it's working or whatever. And that's kind of it. I just kind of went from there. Um, and I realized later on, I would recommend the Zen of Screaming for a lot of people looking to do vocals because there are some things that I realized in that the woman talks. I forgot her name. I'm sorry, I forgot her name. That the woman talks about in her video that in retrospect made me realize, holy shit, I was like really doing this at the time and I didn't even realize I was doing it. So if you want a more like detailed reason or tips on how to sing, do that DVD as opposed to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is a disaster, I believe. But um, I know that when I played my guitar, I'm holding my guitar, my shoulders stay down, and then I'm able to sing, and my voice comes out the way it's supposed to come out. So I didn't realize that until the woman in the video explained that when you take a deep breath and you leave your shoulders down, the vocals come out. I guess because it's coming from your stomach or something like that. So she explained that, and then that made me realize, wait a minute, when I'm playing guitar, I'm doing the same shit. So all right, there you go.
Okay, and just so you know, I'm actually a vocalist myself. I do stuff in the vein of deicide.
You got to start a band someday, right?
I actually took that Zen Scream video, watching myself with Misha Scream, Melissa Cross in it.
That's the
I have
name
a
of it.
copy of it.
Nice.
That's how I learned my ranges. I go as low as Joe Protect too if I want to.
Oh, dude.
Like me and my girlfriend, we do vocals together sometimes, and when we get going and everything balances out, we're deadly in combination together. I
So
taught her what she knows.
nice. So you got a good harmony going on over there.
What was that?
You guys harmonize well then.
Yeah. She
Nice.
sounds a little bit like Rachel Howitzer from Sinister on the two albums Creative Killing, and the other one that was done just after it.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. she's super deep like I am. I mean, my voice doesn't sound like I can go that low, but when I let it go, holy cow! And I could do highs like Kevin Sharp too, a brutal truth. Like I can change up between the two. What advice do you have for people who want to form their own bands?
Huh. Well, first thing I would say is figure out how serious you want to do it. How serious of a band that that you want to do it. Is it going to be a hobby, or is it going to be something you want to go for? Full on. That's the first thing you got to figure that out. But other than that, next step, you got to accept the fact that you're going to be broke for a long time. You're going to be fucking broke. Um, you got to save everything you fucking can, not spend it on dumb shit. Learn your fucking instruments, learn your fucking songs, learn how to repair your own stuff too, because that can cost a fucking lot of money. Just a setup can go anywhere from like $100 or so. If you got a Floyd Rose, it's even more. If you go to one of the Guitar Center guys or something like that, they'll charge you just for that. And that's a basic skill I think you need to know as a musician: how to fix your own stuff, how to set up your own stuff. Um, um, but I mean, if you're comfortable with all that stuff already, when you go out and play shows as a brand new band, uh, play any show that you get offered, man. At the beginning, you got to just go out and get yourself known one way or another, either playing. Uh, you got to network around, talk to different bands, different people. Um, and I would always say, and I'd always advocate that you got to be that person to fucking keep your word. Don't talk shit about anybody. Don't fuck anybody over, especially if you're dealing with a promoter. Uh, Sometimes people forget promoters in the scene. There probably is like maybe four of them, and they all know each other. You know, I'm just throwing a number out there, and I'm pretty sure if you piss one of them off, they might, hey, fuck this guy, fuck that band. Don't don't give them shitty deals or whatever. Shit like that can happen. Reputation really does, do a part. So if you're starting a brand new band or anything like that, keep your word. Don't piss anybody off. Respect everybody, just like you want respect back from you. Um, that's it. And just go out and have fun, be ethical, learn your stuff, and see how you can grow and progress as a musician. How's what you write, and should be good. And find yourself a good job. Or if you don't got a good job, save up whatever you can from anything. As long as you get some sort of income that, you know, makes you eat at night or whatever.
What are some of the tips you could give a band to better promote themselves?
Um, well, I guess part of it can go into the networking deal that I mentioned earlier. Show up to shows, show up early. Don't show up right before you're about to play. Don't leave after you play. Stay for the whole show. Stay for everybody. Network around. You got to do that. And then as far as online, you know, when you post up, think about who you're posting up for. Um, and I try to think about that myself, personally speaking. Something that can look a certain way to you may not look a certain way to like other people on the other end seeing your product or your band or things like that. So you got to think about that, like as far as promotion wise. And try to get on all the social networks. I'm probably really bad with the Facebook one. I think, as you know, that coincidentally I had to get in there for the obscure zine compilation chat that they got going on. Otherwise, you will never see me on Facebook ever. That's just me. I've never been on there. I never wanted to be on Facebook. I can't stand that website. That's just me. But I don't even know if it's like highly popular used anymore. But I'm having fun on Instagram, promoting the band there and talking about networking with other bands there and such. And we were lucky to find a band from Russia that we've connected with too as well. Um, I remember, in the older days, printing out flyers that you give out to just anybody that you see in the street, on the metal in the street, you give them a flyer. hey, this is our band, check us out, whatever. I think that's still a good way to keep things going. Um, yeah, different ways like that, I guess. That's probably some of the best I can give you as far as promoting.
What's the plans for touring? Any festivals you would like to hit that you would want to get on that are a foreseeable goal, as in particular festivals?
Um, I like the idea of playing like a fest here and there. It doesn't matter if it's like a huge fest or a small fest or anything like that. A lot of people, for some reason, have walking as like the top fest that they want to do. But I don't know why I'm drawn to Bloodstock. That's the one I feel like like if I ever have to play a festival, I would definitely love to play Bloodstock. Um, but otherwise, I really would be happy to play any fest that will give throw us a bone or something like that, or however we can get on there. I'm fine with that. As far as touring, I don't really have like this desire to really want to tour, to be honest. At least at the moment, currently, especially with how things are, financially with the band and everything, it's there's a lot of factors that we got to think about. Um, and then plus our day jobs, some of us are kind of tied, unfortunately, to like what we have to do for a living, and they won't allow X amount of time off or anything like that. And let's face it, in death metal, we're not going to be making a killing like on whatever we do. Some of us have families, some of us have like bills or even different things like that. And I don't think it's something that we can really do at this moment, uh, with the tour schedule or anything like that. Um, I really would love to play any stage that would have us, but it's just not something we can do at the moment, unfortunately. Maybe
I
like
know,
a weekend out or so, but not as continuous tour. It's just what it is.
I know how you feel there, man. One of the goals for myself, if I were to tour, is the Brutal Assault Fest out in Czechoslovakia.
I forgot about that one. Yeah.
That's a
That,
good one to get on.
oh hell yeah.
Yeah. What social media outlets can the band be reached on?
I'm sorry, repeat that one more time.
What social media outlets can the band be reached on?
I would say Instagram would be the best one at the moment. That one gets checked out every day. As soon as there's a message, we check on it instantly. Um, the Facebook one, like I said, I'm way out of touch with Facebook, and that was actually used to be run by our old guitarist Hector. Because even he knew that I didn't want anything at all to do with Facebook, and he ran that for a while. And I think when he left the band back in I believe it was 2018. I don't even remember the time that he had left. We're still friends, by the way. We're still cool. But he left the band, and I was like, I don't really want to run this, so let me just put in a away message. Hey, if you message us, please email us instead because we don't. The space is basically abandoned. It's not till recently we started getting a couple of really good show offers that we, you know, gone back in there and updated a couple of things. But definitely Instagram is the best way to get in touch with us. At BrainDead Band, and even faster correspondence will be just messaging me directly at Corpse555M. um, because I also participate in other bands as well. So just to give it to me directly, you can go for it, or if you just want to message the band, that's fine as well. That's the best way.
Do you have a YouTube channel for Brain Dead? And if so, what's the URL for it?
Yes, it's youtube.com/braindeadvision. It's either braindead vision or braindead visions, plural. I think it's singular, actually. I can't remember off the top of my head. But that's also something we're just starting to use a little more now than we were previously, only because we had the lack of content. Fortunately, we were able to upload um, our complete show that we just did at the Chaos and Carnage Fest. And we were really lucky and fortunate that we had a lot of people that were filming various segments of our show, of our performance. And, it was, I felt so lucky that every piece was used to be put together, and it was the entire show. So it's not like one person sat there and filmed the whole thing. It's just literally various people that had their own clips that fit exactly what we needed. We had no plans of releasing anything like that, no plans of like putting that together. It just happened by happenstance. And uh, when I said earlier about our in-ear system and all that stuff that we got from one of our bandmates who works at a audio store, discounted, that's the audio that we used for the actual live performance. So everything was pre-mixed at the studio. As far as our instruments that are going into the system, my vocals that are going into the system, how we want the drums set up, everything was already pre-mixed just so we can hear ourselves. And I've been using it with GarageBand on my iPad just to record our own rehearsals and listen back and to see what we need to touch up on. And I don't know why. I just decided to hit record the day of the show just to, I guess, to listen back and see, what we should touch up on when we get back to the studio for rehearsals and see what we tighten up. And I was really surprised that everything was, as it sounded. And then I see all this footage that's coming out of nowhere, and then I was like, okay, so I guess we should probably put these together, and that's it. So maybe we can expect a lot more little things like that on YouTube. I don't think I want to be posting up full shows every single time we play a show because that does take a lot of work. And it's cool content. I just don't want to be posting up repeated songs either, because sometimes people don't want to hear the same song over and over again. And we have like 50 songs, and so it's like we need to variety there. But maybe now that we have all this system and and I do like the film editing, the video editing for fun as a hobby. Um, Maybe we can just start posting up a little more different things here and there. So yeah, definitely give Braindead Vision a follow. I wish we could have had Braindead Band, but at the time I think it was unavailable or whatever it was. And now at this point, let's just leave it what it is. But that's our YouTube.
I've got three more questions for the interview, and then I'll need a couple of station IDs from you.
Sure.
How has the band sound evolved since you guys first began playing together?
Can you repeat that one more time, please?
How has the band's sound evolved since you guys first began playing together?
Well, as I said earlier, we used to be just a straight up punk thrash band, where in which all the songs were like maybe like anywhere between 1 minute to like 3 minutes. And ever since then till now, it's grown significantly into like this concoction of death thrash, black metal with some synths and pianos here and there, and like like to call it dark metal because it just feels like death metal with a little slight goth in there, but not really, and it just feels a little darker. So I guess that's the spectrum from beginning to end.
Sorry, did you still want to say anything there, or were you good?
I'm saying I hope that answers what you asked.
Yeah, it did. You did a concert just recently with a set of 23 minutes. You like to mind talking about this concert, how it came about, and who was on the bill?
All right, yeah, I definitely don't mind. So over here in our area in New York, we've been playing for so long that we only play maybe like about 1 to 3 times locally in our area in a year. Last year when we did one show is when we opened up for Cryptopsy this year. Our first show of the year was this one that just passed, the Chaos and Carnage. It was headlined by Carnifex and Cattle Decapitation. There are other various stories, man. I just can't remember them at the moment. But I will name drop the local bands we shared the stage with, which were In Surreal, fucking great guys from the city and area. I've really been a fan of those guys for years. Um, we got Soul and Vision who's been doing their fucking thing as well. I believe they toured a couple places recently. And fuck, man, I can't remember this fucking band. Black Winter. I feel bad that I can't remember their name, man. Really, but I think it's called Black Winter. Um, you know what? They deserve to be name dropped. So let me look them up quick. Bear
Sure.
with me one quick second. Yeah, I don't want to like disrespect these guys. You know. Um, yeah, everybody's watching me look at my phone right now. Sorry, people. Black Winter. That's the name of the band. I did get it right. Black Winter. So, it was a pleasure playing with our local, scene bands. Um, but we got onto that show, and we had like a 20-minute set we had to do. So we got to think about it. It's like, okay, our songs are usually like 100 minutes long, and we need to figure out how to condense it down. So we play in two different tunings. We have a standard tuning that we play in. If we were playing on an E standard, it'd just be E standard, E to E. And the secondary tuning we use is what I call drop D flat, or drop E flat, which would be, instead of dropping a whole step down and you do the bar chords, you just drop half a step, and then you, instead of playing the chords like that, you play them like that, and it's enough for what we need. So we're either gonna play a full set of either E standard songs or drop songs, just to minimize the whole tuning. And sometimes we do sets that we do both of them anyway, and we just tune our guitars. Um, so we decided, to open up with Red Snow, because that's a song that we've only played maybe one time previously, and it was just a song that it's hard to fit it with some of the other ones. We did the Jackal and Empty Uniforms, which is part of the third album that still needs to be released. And then we had a hard time trying to figure out, you know, how do we fill up the rest of the minutes, because there's 3 to 4 minutes, and the rest of the songs are all like 6 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes. So it's like we got to figure something out, and we decided, on a whim out of nowhere, is like, why don't we just write a new song? So I was like, all right, let's give it a shot. And then 2 days later, we wrote Irreversible, and we debuted it the night of the show, and I think it got a pretty good response. And I guess anybody that watches the show on YouTube, you can share your opinions on that and see what you think of that song. It was just supposed to be like a little space filler for the show, but I think it's gonna be ended up with something that stands out for us. But it was great playing that show. I was really honored that Raphael, the promoter, invited us to be on that bill to open up for these bands. And it was good chatting with everybody again. It's like meeting, reuniting with so many people in the scene that you haven't seen in a while, because life gets in the way. And it was just really good, good time. Everybody had fun. Everybody had a good time. And now we're just trying to figure out what next. What do we do now? You know, we did get another offer for another show, and then we're trying to see what else we do for the rest of this year, for as far as New York City is concerned. But we're still open to play in the neighboring states or neighboring areas more than 3 times a year, if possible. And then I guess you could say that that'll be our little way of inching into if we even tour one day, or how far we're willing to travel.
Okay. That leads us to the last question of the interview now.
Sure.
What new band news do you have on the Braid Dead front? As in anything we might have missed in this interview?
Um, hmm. I guess I guess it's best to always stay tuned with anything that's going to be happening with us. Follow us on Instagram, and that's probably going to be the best way to get anything that happens. I only say that because we can be super random a lot of times. Um, as I said before, we got that album that's just been sitting around. I may just decide tomorrow, hey, you know what? I'm just going to release it next week, and there you go, it's out. Um, we don't like to really tease many surprises. We just kind of just bring it out of nowhere. Like even last year's Cryptopsy show, we were like, I guess you could say, radio silent for I don't even remember when was the last BrainDead show before that, but it was kind of a while. I think it was summer of the year before. and we just been radio silent ever since. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, there's a flyer up. Hey, look, we're playing with Cryptops, and everybody's like, "Oh shit, what the fuck? Congratulations, this and that, etc." And it was really awesome that we got on that. Cryptops has been a huge favorite band of mine. Um, and an inspiration for my death metal style. Um, so yeah, I don't think there's anything significant to stand out and I can say, this is what we missed, other than just try to pay attention when we're gonna do something, because sometimes even I don't even know what's gonna happen. Like tomorrow, I may get an offer for another thing to open up for. It's just everything's super random, and I kind of like it that way, to be honest. I like not having a set plan because things can just happen, and if you plan too much, um, things just can just go haywire. And I guess a fun fact I guess I can share with you guys is I've always been the worst planner in the world with anything. And you know, and like even like planning for me and you to sit here and chat was difficult for me because I have so many things going on everywhere. So it's hard. And I do gotta say thank you for rescheduling this for today. Because we were supposed to do this yesterday, and it sucked that I just couldn't talk. Everything was like falling out of my nose at that point. But yeah, I'd never been like much of a planner. My old guitarist Hector that I mentioned, he hates that about me so much, and I find it hilarious because he likes to plan all you know every little thing from venue to when we load up on stage to this and that and all that stuff. I get it. Like, you need planning sometimes, but it's just never gonna register in this fucking brain, man. But but yeah, I guess that's my little.
Cool. That leads us now to the station IDs, man, which is the first one is, hey, this is Ed of BrainDead, and you're listening to Mangled Music Radio.
Repeat it one more time because my brain is like.
It's, hey, this is Ed of BrainDead, and you're listening to Mangled Music Radio.
Hey, this is Ed from BrainDead. You're listening to Mangled Music Radio.
And the second station ID is for Craig's Metal Storm. You can come up with whatever you want in that one.
Metal Storm, like is raining storm?
Yeah, as in the video game Metal Storm for the old Nintendo.
Actually, now that you bring that up, I really fucking love that you have Contra as the background music when you're having like when you're on the radio show. I fucking love that. Contra always a fucking favorite game of mine. I was actually just downloading it to play it again recently, but kudos on that. All right, let me write this one down that you want me to say because I know my brain's gonna fuck it up somehow.
It's the same as the first one. It's, hey, this is Ed of BrainDead, and you're listening to Craig's Metal Storm.
Craig's Metal Storm.
Yep.
Hey, this is Ed from BrainDead. You're listening to Craig's Metal Storm.
Cool. Thank you very much for the time over here at Craig's Metal Storm, and thank you very much for the interview for Mangled Music Radio. You have yourself a good night, Ed.
Oh yeah, man. You too. Thank you.
You're welcome.